Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, we're talking about a fight that I'm extremely excited about. Max Holloway is fighting Ilia Topuria, the BMF champ, versus the featherweight champion of the world, UFC champion of the world, the undefeated featherweight UFC champion of the world in Ilia Topuria. Guys, I'm going to give you my pick for this one right off the bat, right at the beginning. In the first 60 seconds, I'm going to give it to you. I'm picking Max Holloway. Now, guys, I'm also a big fan of Max Holloway. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. Obviously, he's a legend of the sport. I've watched pretty much every single fight. This is a five-round fight. Why am I giving it to Max Holloway? Well, first, let me make a case for Ilia Topuria first, okay? Guys, remember to use Level Up 50 off, promo code Level Up 50 off, and get anything 50% off, jujiclub.com. Make sure to use the promo code. Please do not buy something and then beg for the use of the promo code. You have to use it the first time around. It's the rules now, okay? Guys, why can Ilia win? I'm gonna give you guys my odds after. Right now, I'm telling you I'm picking Max Holloway, but let me tell you why Ilia Topuria can win. We all know he has incredible power. He has pristine technique. He's a phenomenal boxer. He has very good jiu-jitsu. He's very good on the ground. He has 8 submissions in his career. He has a lot of finishes, not only by KO, many by submission. Not in UFC, but he has 1 submission in UFC. He did submit Bryce Mitchell. But that submission really was because of his striking, right? He pummeled Bryce Mitchell. He pummeled him. He hurt him, got him up against the fence, crushed him, started hitting him with hard shots. Bryce Mitchell was not in a good place. Bryce Mitchell, to his credit, was able to get the fight to the ground a few times. He did scramble. He did scrap well on the ground, but Ilia softened them up with his strikes and then put him in a, if I remember correctly, it was an arm choke, arm triangle. We all know what Ilia Topuria's biggest weapon is. His power. He's got devastating KO. He shocked us all when he knocked out Volkanovski. He knocked out Volkanovski like we've never seen anybody knock out Volkanovski prior to the Makhachev head kick. And then Volkanovski goes right back into it. We all thought it was maybe too early. And then he gets knocked out by Ilia Topuria. Maybe Makhachev had a lot to do with the Ilia Topuria knockout. A lot of us were wondering, hey, is it too soon? Is it too soon? A lot of us critiqued Volkanovski for that. Volkanovski said himself he has to be in training camp. He can't be outside of training camp. He has to get back in there. When you go up in weight and then you come back down, it could be difficult. Why? Because, when you're fighting a weight above, you start putting on more muscle. You eat a little more. You want to be a little bigger. It's tough to bring that weight back down. It's tough. And that's exactly what Max Holloway just did. He went up to 155, beat Gaethje for the BMF belt. Now he's going back down. Is it going to be difficult for him? All these things we have to consider. However, what does Ilia bring to the table that's so promising? 1, his knockout power. Submitting Max Holloway is going to be very difficult. Nobody's ever done it. Now, if he would get a submission, he'd have to knock Max Holloway down, have him dazed and confused, and then jump on a submission. I doubt he's going to methodically take Max Holloway down repeatedly and then sub him with something really surprising or slick. Unlikely. Not impossible, guys. Never impossible, but highly unlikely. Why? Max Holloway's jiu-jitsu is among the best in MMA. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Nobody's ever really come close to subbing him. I can't even think of one instance where he was in a really deep submission and it looked like he was going to get tapped. He has to knock out Max Holloway. Now, how can Max win? This is why I'm picking Max. I'm trying to explain to you guys why Max can win. I think for Ilia to knock out Max, he has to corral Max to the fence. Because if you look at all of Ilia Topuria's knockouts, all of them, knockout standing up when he drops a guy from standing position because he has some ground and pound finishes. He always brings the guy to the fence. He corrals the guy to the fence. He never gets them out in the open. He never gets them in the center of the octagon. Hasn't happened yet. He's always corralling his opponents to the fence. Why? He's a shorter guy. For him to throw with confidence that he won't get countered, to throw the full power shot, he has to corral you to the fence. Now, here's the thing. That's the one way he can win. He's got one way. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? less likely than a guy like Max Holloway who has many ways to win. He has several ways to win. Okay, now what's Max Holloway's ways to win? Well, let me tell you guys something. He has a lot of 5-round fights. I've lost track of how many 5-round fights Max Holloway has. I don't know. I can't tell you. It's over 10. Okay, so maybe I should count them for fun here, but it's a lot. Okay, one, he brings a lot more experience, 5-round experience. Ilia Topuria has seen 5 rounds, I think, one time in his career with Josh Emmett, which in my opinion was his best performance ever, even though he didn't get to finish in that fight. Guys, I can't even count it. There's too many. How many times has Max Holloway fought a 10-rounder? Let me look it up here. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 second here. He's 22 wins in UFC and 7. 22 and 7. Goodness gracious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fights so far. Aldo, 12, 13. Pettis was a 5-round schedule fight. I didn't make it 5 rounds, but he was scheduled. He's doing training camps for 5-round training. 5-round training camps are very different than 3-round training camps. Guys, let's just call it like I think he's more like closer to 20. Okay, he's closer to 20. He has a lot of 5-round experience. We've never seen him get tired once. We've never seen him been dazed. We've never seen him get knocked down. He's been punched for 5 rounds or scheduled 5 rounds over and over again with the best in the world. And the man's chin has been granite. He just went up 1 weight class to fight a guy who's known for being a power puncher. And it's Justin Gaethje. And Justin never hurt him. I think number one advantage Max Holloway has is he has an incredible amount of 5-round experience. I can't even think of anybody else who has more 5-round experience than Max Holloway. Maybe there are some guys who are comparable, but he's up there. He has that on Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria has never done a hard 5 rounds. He's never done it. Doesn't mean he can't do it. It's just it's a different kind of fight. You have to pace yourself. You can't just go so hard in round 1. You can't just go so crazy in round 2. You're rounding out round 4 and you think, oh, this is the end. No, there's another 5 minutes. There's going to be another 5 minutes. So one major plus for Max Holloway. Guys, let me, I forgot to put it in the, I'm going to do a poll. Hold on a second. I want to do a poll. I want to see what you guys think. Hold on, before I start changing people's minds here. Okay, let me just do who wins. I forgot to put it. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's put Topuria. Oops. Typo. Topuria. Okay. Or Holloway. All right. You guys tell me who wins. Number 1, Max can outdo him in the 5 rounds. He can outpace him. Guys, don't forget, I think Max has the record for the most significant strikes ever landed in UFC history. He's up there. If he's not the number 1, he's up there. He's in the top 5 for sure. He can out volume. He can out decision. He has a much greater chance of winning by decision. And he could finish Topuria. You doubt me? Go watch his last fight. 1 second left. Knocks out Justin Gaethje. If he can knock out Justin Gaethje's chin has been tested time after time. He's been hit by all the biggest hitters. Then he gets knocked out by a featherweight. That tells me that featherweight is incredibly dangerous. Now, 5 rounds is an advantage for Max Holloway. Max Holloway has been tested far more than Ilia Topuria. He's fought the who's who. He's fought 2 generations of fighters. He can win by more significant strikes. He's a busier fighter. He can win by decision. I don't see Topuria winning by decision. I hate to say that, but I don't see him beating Max Holloway by decision. He has one way to win. I doubt either man subs the other without first really badly hurting him on the feet. It can happen. Subs can happen. No. One thing about Topuria, I'll tell you, is his technique is better than Max Holloway's. This I have no doubt. His technique is better. Is cleaner. His mechanics are cleaner. That's another advantage I think that I have to give Topuria. He has a much more efficient technique. However, I noticed a very big improvement in Max Holloway's footwork, his defensive skill in the last fight against Justin Gaethje. I thought he weathered the Justin Gaethje fight beautifully. He stayed out of trouble. His footwork was better than ever. His variety was very good. He threw a back kick several times. His variety was excellent. So I would give variety, creativity, distance control. I'm going to give it to Max Holloway. However, mechanical precision, Topuria is better. Generally, throughout his career, Topuria has been more defensively responsible. Max Holloway, however, has now improved that element in his fight. I think he's better than ever. He's matured as a fighter. It's crazy to say that after so many 5-round fights, but I find that he's getting better. When he fought Justin Gaethje, I found him to be even better than usual. Okay, guys, with that said, AFJ says, Coach, did you see Tony Ferguson says he looks up to you and has always wanted to train with you. I also got a message, somebody telling me he was reaching out to me. I checked on Instagram, no such message. So if Tony Ferguson is getting this message, I'm a big fan of yours. You're a legend of the sport. If you want to train with me, you're more than welcome. It's an open invitation to Tony Ferguson. I will train you around the clock and we will get that W. If you're fighting again, let's work together and get you that W. I would absolutely love to work with a legend of the sport like Tony Ferguson. Okay, guys, with that said, back to the fight. I want to hear your thoughts and comments. 56% in the chat is picking Topuria. You guys are not crazy. This is going to be a hard fight. I think Max Holloway is going to win. However, it is a dangerous fight. Why? The power, the explosiveness. Topuria has been through less wars, but it's incredible. We have to take a moment to appreciate how many wars Max Holloway's been in and how incredibly well he's still performing. How incredibly well he's still taking shots and giving shots. It's incredible. You'd think a guy with that many 5-round fights would be all broken up right now. You'd think his body would betray him. You think his knees would be broken. You think his shoulders would be gone. You think his hands would be brittle. The man is made of steel. It's incredible. Max Holloway is an incredible fighter. Didn't Poirier put the pain on Max, Coach? And that's from Adam Bro. Yes, he did. I was there actually for that fight. I can't remember who I had fighting on the card, but yes, I was definitely there. And look, he outboxed him that day. He did. And that was Max Holloway coming up to 155. Poirier was in his prime. Max was in his prime. He just outdid him, but I believe that Max has improved greatly since then. He went back. He fixed things. He changed his footwork around. His footwork is much more precise. His defensive responsibility is much greater. His volume is just as great as it ever was. I think he's made massive improvements. Ilia has his number. That's from Safari Ferrari. Yes, but why does he have his number? Elaborate. Why? What is it about Topuria that has his number? Are you saying that Topuria is like a counterpuncher? So the more Max throws, he's going to get counterpunched more often? I mean, give me a reason. Speculate. Elaborate. Topuria is going to give Max problems mixing the boxing with the jiu-jitsu. That's from Swish S. I don't think so. I mean, are you saying that he's bringing more boxing and jiu-jitsu mixed than Frankie Edgar, Volkanovski, like all these greats? I don't think so. Like, okay, Jose Aldo never uses this. It's crazy, guys. I gotta take a moment to talk about this. Jose Aldo is one of the great legends of the sport, no doubt, but people don't know how good a jiu-jitsu practitioner he is. He has amazing jiu-jitsu. He beat Cobrinha at brown belt. Like, it's incredible. Like, one of the greatest grapplers of all time lost to Jose Aldo in grappling, not in MMA, grappling with a gi. That's how good Jose Aldo's grappling is. But he never uses it in all his fights. He only uses it in reverse. He only uses it to get up to his feet. He could take so many guys down and sub them. He could take so many of the guys he fought. He could have put a sub on them. He could have pinned them, controlled them. It's just, it blows my mind that you do so much intensive training in jiu-jitsu and never use it. It's pretty wild to me. Okay, guys, questions and comments on this fight only. Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Topuria is good everywhere, and he's different when it comes to inside pocket fighting. His technique is like a pro boxer. Ilia by second round KO. That's from Kevin. Kevin thinks he's going to knock out Max Holloway. It's very possible. I think that's his only avenue for success. I don't think he really has a chance. No, I shouldn't say that. I should say that his chances are much lower for a 5-round decision win against Max. Why? Max is so busy. Max is so good at adapting. I think Topuria needs to corral Max to the fence to knock him out. It's going to be tough to back up Max that far to the fence. Max is very smart. He has incredible ring awareness. And I hope Max ties him up, tie clinches. With the height and reach that Max has, I think he should use the tie clinch and knee. Definitely, because the way Topuria fights, he's kind of crowded like this. He's kind of cross-blocking sometimes. He's open for a knee. And I really believe that Max is going to do a lot of kicking. He's going to do a lot of teeps to the face, head kicks, etc. This is going to give a problem to Topuria. And I heard Topuria say, or I saw a post that he said he wants to meet Max in the middle. Let's trade the first 10 seconds of the fight. Let's just go blow for blow. That's the way Topuria could win. Like, let's go blow for blow and try to knock each other out. I don't think Max is going to do that. I hope he doesn't do that. That wouldn't be a smart choice. We know Topuria is very powerful. Max needs to take him in later rounds. Max needs to use a lot of kicking. A lot of kicking in rounds 1 and 2. A lot of kicking. Awkward kicking. Kicks, side kicks to the knee. Teeps to the body. Round kicks to the head. Teeps to the face. Get away from that boxing range. Don't let him back you up to the fence. Walk that fine line. Take away that pop, that explosiveness. Take away that dangerous power that Topuria has. Salam from South Africa, Coach. Ilia said he plans to invite Max to slug it out in the center of the first 10 seconds. What should Max do? That's from Suhail. Suhail, that's exactly what I was just talking about. Yes, that's a very good it's a very good point. Maybe they're just talking. Maybe they're just hyping up the fight. But I know Max is crazy enough to do something like that. Will Topuria do something like that? I hope Max doesn't fall for it. I think it would be an advantage for Topuria in that sense. I just think in the last 10 seconds, if they did it, I would give the advantage to Max. The first 10 seconds of the fight, I wouldn't do that with Topuria. Personally, he's too explosive. He's too dangerous. He's too hard of a puncher. Max seems very withdrawn. That's from Safari Ferrari. I wouldn't tell you, look, I think I watched some of his training and this and that. I think he looks very focused. I wouldn't say withdrawn. I would say very focused. And I like that. Obviously, Ilia with the power and mechanical advantage. But by his number, I mean what I've seen mentally. Ilia is very confident and for a reason. Well, look, Safari, he's never lost a fight in his life and he went all the way to the championship. He's confident. But here's the thing. He deserved all those wins. He got his title shot fair and square and he won it. But it doesn't mean he's the best. Guys, I'm telling you, just because you're wearing the title doesn't mean you're the best guy in the division. It's not true. I've seen world champions in front of my eyes in the practice room get their ass kicked. I've seen it. By a guy in their division, by a guy in their weight. Okay? Now that guy's like 3-4 fights away from getting a title shot, so that's why you don't see him in the ring. All I'm saying is it's not as simple. Sometimes a guy has the style to beat you. Okay? I've seen a lot of crazy things in the practice room. I've seen a lot of crazy things. I'm telling you, just because he's wearing the strap doesn't mean he's going to be the best guy. Maybe, look, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be champion, but let's say for instance, he fought a Volk who was like previously concussed by Makachev and he was in a bad place in his life and he shouldn't have been taking that fight and he needed to recover and he needed to do things right. But because he didn't do things right, he lost to Topuria. But if Alexander was in his prime, feeling good, healthy, maybe he beats Topuria, let's say. And then you guys wouldn't say, oh, Topuria is so great. What I'm trying to say is there's so much we don't know. Like, I'm going to give him full credit because that's the way it should be done. Because you can't just make up things like that. We don't know, right? It's an argument from ignorance. Like, he won that fight. He won by KO. He beat the man. He deserves to be champion. That's what we know. So all I'm trying to tell you is that MMA math, I call it MMA math. You know, this guy beat that guy and that guy beat that guy. So therefore, these two, if they fight, I don't believe in that stuff. I think it's way more complicated than that. There's too much we don't know. There's like, sometimes guys take fights, they're injured, they're concussed, I've had guys take fights with a broken nose, hiding it. Like, you just don't know, why a certain fight went a certain way. So I'm not saying because I don't know that it was a fluke or luck. No. Don't say that. I would never say that to a fighter. All I'm saying is MMA math doesn't work. I think Max is... Think about this, okay? Who's ever hurt Max with a punch? Guys, give me the name. Who's the guy who hurt Max with a punch the most? I can't even really think of him getting rocked. Of all the fights he's done, did he ever take a shot and get wobbled bad? Like what round? Which fight? Guys, I'm going to check this comment section for this. This is a really... Dustin. Yeah, Dustin put it on him. I remember Dustin beat him handedly. But Gaethje dropped Max. I don't recall Gaethje dropping Max. I have to go rewatch it, but I don't recall Dustin rocked him. Yes, Dustin did hurt him, but not so bad. Like, and Max has gotten so much better then. Let me look again here. What year did he fight Poirier? Hold on a second. Let me double check here. What year was that? Dustin Poirier. Okay, he lost to Dustin Poirier in 2012 by triangle armbar. Okay. That was very early. I think that was his first UFC fight. Okay, so his first... Think about this, guys. Max Holloway, first UFC fight, fights Dustin Poirier, loses his first UFC fight in 2012. Imagine, the man would become world champion after. Arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. He lost his first fight. Crazy. Okay, then he fought Dustin again. Hold on a second. How is that possible? I don't see it here. He fought Dustin again for the lightweight interim. Where is it? Let's see. Jose Aldo. Okay, here it is. 2019. Okay, so it's been 5 years. He's really improved since then. Since then, he beat Frankie Edgar. He has 2 fights with Alexander Volkanovski. He beat Calvin Kattar, Yair Rodriguez. 3rd fight with Volkanovski, Arnold Allen, Korean Zombie, and then Justin Gaethje. So he's come a long way. That 5 years, he's come a long way. He's a different guy. Aldo hurt him with a left hook. Yeah, but Aldo was never close to finishing. Aldo was never close to finishing Max Holloway. Never. Max is more powerful than Ilia, man. Took out Gaethje. That's a good point. He took out Gaethje. If Topuria comes close, Max will just pop him with a spinning back kick. Why is everyone forgetting that deadly move in his repertoire? That's from Mosh Pit. Well, you don't really want to do it when somebody's rushing you. You can do it that way. It's doable. Trust me, I've seen it for sure. But it's very risky because if that back kick glances off your opponent, you get punched in the back of the head. So it can be risky as well. It's not that simple. Shiz, my boy, is in the chat room, of course, as always. Max has non-stop cardio for 5 rounds and will outwork you just like he did against Jose Aldo. Anthony Pettis also proved he has KO power. KO'd Korean Zombie, Justin Gaethje in 155 pounds. Former champ in 145. A true G. That's from Shiz, guys. Shiz is completely right. I think Shiz is completely right. It's a tough thing to do, to be in a 5-round fight with Max Holloway. I think Topuria can knock him out. It's unlikely. And to win a 5-round decision against Max, I think even more unlikely. Even more unlikely. The best path to victory for Topuria, in my opinion, is an early stoppage, which would be the first time in Max Holloway's career. It doesn't mean it can't happen, guys. Everybody has an expiration date. All of us. Father Time catches up to you. Is this the time? Is this the time now where Max is going to look old in there? Ilia will find his chin. I can see that, but Max has nice spins. That's from Frank. Yeah, he does have nice spins. He was surprising Gaethje. He definitely caught Gaethje off by surprise. Caleb says 16-0 and gives us a rose. Is that like a Spanish thing or something? Tommy McDougall, Coach, I dabble. Okay. Guys, I'm only doing I'm only, Tommy, my friend McDougal, Mr. McDougal, you have to ask me that question later. I'm only doing questions on the fight. That comes much later. Okay, so at least half an hour. We have 4 or 5 more minutes. I'll try to circle back to your question. I'm happy to answer all your questions. Mr. McDougal, I'll make a mental note. Just, you don't have to pay another super chat. Just repost that question in a few minutes, and I'm gonna do my best to address it. Okay. We got to do the fight first, guys. We got to do the fight. Tommy's asking some deep questions. Tommy's a man with a brain, man. He's got a 6-pack up here. You guys, 90% of you got a 6-pack down here, but Tommy's got a 6-pack up here, my friend. That's where it counts. Do you think Max going back down to 145 is going to affect him? That's from Janan. I'll tell you something. Because he's body type, he's ectomorph, he's kind of long and lanky, I don't think so. I think it's the short, stocky, muscular guys that have the hardest time making weight. And that's just my experience. I'm a little crazy, but I feel like by body type, no. In my observation, which, I've seen tall, lanky guys suffer also, but I don't know, for some reason, Max Holloway, it's funny, I was listening to him talk about that. He's like, it doesn't make a difference to me. 145, 155, I'll figure out a way. I'm going to make weight. Like, he's done it so many times. I don't think he's ever missed weight. I can't think of one time Max Holloway missed weight. Let me see here. Look, he's got like 33 fights. I don't think he's ever missed weight. The man is a phenom. Guys, the man is a phenom. He has 12 wins by TKO or KO, 2 by submission, and 12 by decision. That's incredible, man. He's going to win by KO or decision. He can win by KO or decision. Where I think Ilia can really only has one path to victory. One. Missed weight with Khabib or what happened that fight? Question mark. That's from Jara. No, I don't think he missed weight with Khabib. That was like a short notice matchup they were trying to do. And I can't remember what happened. I remember obviously they didn't fight each other, but I can't remember why. I think it was it Khabib? I can't remember. Honestly, I don't remember what happened in that fight. But that if he didn't make weight for Khabib, because that must have been a last minute thing. That would be making weight at 155. That would have been really easy for Max, because obviously he makes weight all the time at 145. Oh, the doctors so Christopher Kim says the doctors pulled Max out. It must have been a last second thing, right? Obviously, because it's 10 pounds heavier than his normal weight category. They made him stop cutting weight in New York. I was there, actually. I remember now. I think they put Iaquinta was also fighting, and they switched it. It was supposed to be Max Holloway. It was like a big fight. I can't remember why Max. I think they brought in Max last minute, and they made him stop cutting weight. In New York, they have, I guess, more strict laws. I can't remember. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. What would Topuria versus Prime McGregor look like? That's from Yipin Diagi. That's an interesting one. That would be really, really interesting. That's hard to call, man. That's really hard. Very hard to call. That would be a very interesting fight. Imagine that, huh? Prime McGregor, southpaw counter-punching extraordinaire versus a very good, powerful, kind of like shelled up boxer with a lot of KO power. I like McGregor for his reach. I like Topuria for everything else. He's just got that pressure, that head movement. Ilia Topuria has phenomenal head movement. Phenomenal. I think Max Holloway can do a lot of damage with his kicks. Now, I think McGregor also against Topuria could have done a lot of damage with his kicks. I just feel like when a guy kind of fights like that, all shelled up and all that, you got to start throwing the kicks. Safari is like, he's got too much self-belief. I think he's referring to Topuria. He's too much confidence. Guys, I've seen guys with so much confidence get their ass kicked. Don't be fooled by confidence. Don't get me wrong. Confidence is good. But I've seen guys who, there was this one fight. Oh, my goodness gracious. I saw a knockout recently. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my God. This is like the worst knockout I've ever seen. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. This is like a legendary knockout. Okay, legendary. my God, this is one of the most legendary, crazy, absurd knockouts I've ever seen. The most cockiest guy I've ever seen ever. I'm telling you, like, this guy was ridiculously cocky. Like, oh my God, this is an insane. This is like, I've seen cocky guys before, but this is I think the cockiest guy I've ever seen in my life. Like, I watched this KO and I was like, I was just like, I couldn't help myself. I was just like laughing, man. I was like, this is insane. Oh my God, can I find it? Somebody's got to get me the name of this KO. It was like this big black guy was like fat, and you guys have to have seen it. It's gone viral, and he was kind of like walking like this, kind of like walking around. The best comment under that KO was, "Bro, be like waiting around like while his girlfriend is shopping. You know, like you're dying, you can't wait for her to finish. The fight starts, and the guy's like." He's walking around like he's doing this lazy strut. He's fighting this guy, and the guy's like, head kick, boom, KO. It was ridiculous, man. It was insane. But that guy felt confident. He felt super confident. Trust me, confidence is great, yes, but you can be also overconfident. Sometimes fear, sometimes being really scared of the guy you're fighting is also very... Guys, I'm not joking. I won't name names, but I've seen a guy at the weigh-ins shaking, legs shaking. I'm telling you, shaking. Like his legs are shaking. The other guy's super confident, looking at the guy, I'm going to beat this guy, Next day, boom, KO. The guy who was shaking wins by KO. Believe me, I'm telling you, confidence is good, yes. But it's not true. It's going to win you. Like, it doesn't guarantee fights. Believe me, I've seen guys super confident. Why? The guys around him all tell him he's the best all the time. He's had many wins in a row. He's never lost and this and that. He doesn't know, man. There's limitations. There's difficulties in the world. And here's the thing. We know when Max is in trouble and he's under the gun, we know he fights like a lion. Now, Topuria's been under the gun under Jay Herbert. With Jay Herbert, he got knocked down bad. He got hurt. He fought beautifully, came back, grappled, did a very good job getting out of trouble, and the following round knocks out Jay Herbert. Nonetheless, that's nothing compared to what Max Holloway's been through. Nothing. I mean, compared... Max has been through brutal wars. Salam, coach. When will you release headbutting instructional? That's from Sean. Sean, unlikely ever. I would love to find that video. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find that video. This was the most incredible display of confidence / arrogance I've ever seen in my life. I gotta find that fight, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking for it right now. Where can I find it? Goodness gracious. It was just unbelievable. Anyways, maybe it's better I don't show it. I'll probably get flagged. Okay, guys, in the vote so far, we have 54% Topuria. Guys, this is a tough one. I'm telling you. I'm not saying Topuria can't win. I'm not saying he's not going to win. I'm picking Max. Why? He has more ways to win, and he's improving. He's still improving. I still believe Max Holloway is improving. Pipasta, yes, it is a big black guy. A big black guy. He's overweight. Kind of like, he's got a belly. He's fighting at a heavier weight class. Comes out, and he's like really like, he's like swinging his head back and forth, kind of swinging his arm like he's kind of like that, lackadaisical. He's walking up to the guy, and the guy's boom kicks him in the head. Insanity, guys. The world is insane. Like, I would have been furious with him. I would have been like, man, get on, like, start fighting. Like, what are you doing? He's walking around like, so much better than this guy. What is this guy doing? Is this guy crazy? He doesn't know who I am. Boom, head kick. The best fight mentality is that when you walk in there and they close the cage, you're not champion anymore. Everything that happened, all the fights of the past, they don't mean anything anymore. You got to win this one. That's the mentality you got to have. You got to win every minute, every round, every fight. Nothing is given. It's not going to be given to you because you did so good in the past. Now, with that said, your track record should give you confidence, yes, but you don't want to rely on that, right? Because It's not going to win you the fight. It's your experience. It's who you are. Okay, you have belief in your hands. You have belief in your ability. I get it. There's a balance. Is what I'm trying to say. There's a balance. You can't just be like, oh, that guy sounds really confident. He's going to win. You can't do that. Because even that guy doesn't know. He doesn't know what's waiting for him. He doesn't know. Who's the most successful fighter Topuria beat? You'd have to say Volkanovski, of course. Arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. However, he did just suffer a brutal KO a few months before. Is that why Topuria won? I don't think so. I think he won fair and square. Okay, he won fair and square, but it's still not 100% certain. Now, I'm sure Topuria doesn't even think that. Topuria thinks, no, that was the best Volkanovski there was, and I beat him fair and square, and I'll beat him again, and even if he was in his prime or not injured, it wouldn't have made a difference. He doesn't know that. Nobody knows that, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're going to really be logical about it, if you're going to suspend all, like, your emotions and prejudice, you're like, look, we don't know. We don't know. We can't run a test. Okay, so because we don't know, we should be cautious, but it's also not polite. It's not socially, it's not etiquette. It's not proper. A guy won, he won fair and square. Because we don't know, we shouldn't speculate that it's the case. We shouldn't speculate for the worst, okay, because the guy won fair and square. Coach, you're talking about Islam Masrah, Mikhail Gruguh. Let me look. Islam Masrah. Hold on. If this is the fight, guys, prepare to see. Oh, here it is. Islam Masrah. Let's see. Is this it? Oh, no. Okay. Islam Masrah versus. Oh, yes, this is it. Is this it? Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Oh, my God. Hold on. Let me find the original fight. Can I find the original fight? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is the craziest. Oh my God, hold on. Let me see. I have to see it from the beginning. You have to get it from the beginning. No, this is not from the beginning. Hold on. I got to get a better video of this. Okay, let's play this one. All right, let me see how I'm going to play this for you boys. All right. Give me one moment. I'm going to do my button pushing magic here. Aha. Look at this button pushing extraordinaire. Look at this. For all of you doubting my button pushing skills, look at this, what you're going to see on your screen in just a moment. Et voilà, as they say in français. Okay, guys, this is like a promo to the fight. Hold on a second, I'm going the wrong way. This is not the right fight. Okay, this is Baki. Actually, I'm working with Baki now. It's phenom, but that's a story for another day. A phenomenal fighter. But a story for another day. This is like a promo.
Arena in Paris.
Okay, here we go.
Just witnessed one of the craziest openings of a fight we've seen in a long time as heavyweight Islam Masraf knocked out Mikhail Gruguh in just 10 seconds. Gruguh chose to start the fight casually strolling towards his dangerous opponent with his hands down just to walk into a devastating head kick that knocked him out cold.
Wait. This can't be the right video. They're not showing it. Hold on. Let me find the right video. This is not the right video. This can't be it. It doesn't show it. They don't show the KO. This is no. Okay, no. This is it. I'm sorry. It's back. Okay. Hold on. Here it is. It is the right one. Give me 1 second. They're gonna show you. Here we go. Look how he's strolling around. Look how confident. Hold on, I gotta zoom in. I gotta zoom in for you guys. You guys can't appreciate it from this far out. They're not showing us the production footage. This is like somebody filming from the crowd. But this is just insanity. This is production footage, and then let me see if I could zoom in here. Hold on 1 second here. How do I zoom in on this thing? Goodness gracious. I gotta find a better shot of this. What the better shot? I need to find the Okay, here it is. Okay, it's just... Alright, let's watch it like this. Look, before the fight even started, the guy was like strolling around by the fence. So this is like... This footage still doesn't show the right. That doesn't show. Hold on, it doesn't show enough. Hold on, this is not the right one. I gotta find the pre-fight before they started fighting. Hold on, all these are just comments. It was too viral of a clip. They must have cut it. The PFL's like, hey, we're gonna keep this clip forever. No. It's just how arrogant he was before the fight started. Anyways, I can't find the best clip. It shows you like the beginning of the fight. The announcer's still announcing, and the fight's like, the referee's like, let's fight. And the guy's strolling around. He's like swinging his arm, and he's like this, and he walks up to, and the guy's like ready to fight. The guy's like right in front of it. And the guy's like, bam, head kick. Ridiculous. Insanity. What can I tell you? Just to show you, like, confidence. Confidence sometimes is really arrogant. Do you think it would be smart for Topuria to mix in takedowns? And how do you see the fight playing out? That's from Johnny. Johnny, I think if he shoots on Max, he might make himself more tired than anything else. Because if he takes Max down, Max is going to be very hard to hold down. It can happen. I would say, like, if I was in Topuria's corner, I'd want him to establish some really good striking, hurt Max, and take him down at when a good opportunity arises. Yes, kind of like what Volk did, but even Volk had a hard time holding him down. Here's the thing. Sometimes when you're a big, powerful puncher, you lack in endurance. Okay, usually the dilemma is this. You have fast twitch muscle fibers. You're very explosive. Fast twitch muscle fibers carry less oxygen. If you have slow twitch, you carry more oxygen, but you get less knockouts. Okay, so it's rare that an athlete has both. He's super fast twitch, explosive, and he has crazy endurance. It's very rare. We've seen it for sure, no doubt. There are people who are an exception to the rule, but the majority of the time, your genetic makeup favors one more than the other. Benefits of inside head versus outside head single for MMA. That's from Adam Rogers. Adam, I'm going to pertain it to the fight because we're still talking about Topuria and Max. When you put your head to the outside, you get guillotined. Okay, so me, I shoot always my head on the inside. Why? I don't like to even give my opponents a chance to grab my neck. If Topuria shoots his head to the outside, he can get guillotined. Does Max ever do guillotines? I don't think I've seen him really grab a guillotine, and I just don't think it would make a difference. Like, if you're fighting Max Holloway, I don't think he's really looking for guillotine. So in this particular case, it doesn't really matter. But let's say you were fighting a Nate Diaz. You'd be crazy to shoot your head to the outside. I think that would be insane. If you're fighting, let's say, a Marcelo Garcia and you shoot your head to the outside, I think that's insane because the guy's a guillotiner. When you're fighting a guillotiner, it's a sin to put your head under his arm. You never put your head under a guillotiner's arm. Never. Have you seen the video of Ilia training? ? That's from Valkyriat. Yes, I have. I did watch the video of him training, and he looks phenomenal. He's a killing machine. His team is doing a great job with him. I liked his training videos way more than what I saw in Max. I feel like Max's training videos were good. They were not as professional and as energetic, I would say, as Topuria's. But seeing what Max has done in the past, that's what works for him. And he's getting results with that method. And I really believe that different methods work for different people. I really believe that. Okay, so we're going to have to wait to see the fight. Course for hip strength coach. That's from B Medic. That's going to be a while. Okay, so I'm coming out with a lot of different material, new stuff, but hips it's going to be a long ways. Topuria is an overhyped. He shouldn't be pound for pound number 4. That's from 7-6. I'm going to disagree. Okay, Topuria is not overhyped. He's a very dangerous man. He has incredible boxing mechanics, incredible defensive mechanics. He's incredibly powerful. He has incredible footwork. He has a very strong low kick. He's a very good grappler. He seems to be very strong, like physically strong. He's explosive. The guy has so much going for him. He's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters we have today. There is no doubt. My only question is, can he beat arguably the greatest featherweight of all time? That's my question. Coach, do you believe in Teddy Atlas's theory that when a fighter wins the belt, he automatically becomes 30% better? Love the lives. That's from Tito. Thank you, Tito. I really appreciate that. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Are you 30% better? I wouldn't say 30%. I think 30% is a lot, but I would say like 10% better, 15% better. Yeah, because now you really believe like you're the top dog. And it turns a fire on. It turns a new fire on. Now, some fighters live that for a very short period and all of a sudden get distracted with the happenings outside. You know, like, oh, these people want to talk to you. These people want to make you rich. Oh, they want to take you here and meet this person. They get like in a storm of like media and they live in the media. I find those guys who start cutting corners, start like living the good life, that 15-20% actually did them harm because they're not scared that they're going to lose their belt. They think, oh, it's a given. Oh, that other guy, oh, that guy's nothing. That guy barely won his other 2 fights. I'm going to beat that guy real easy. Let me go do these press interviews. Let me go talk to these guys who want to give me a bunch of money for, chewing gum in front of a camera. Let me go talk. You start getting involved in the, let me exploit my position now to make as much money as possible, as opposed to being like, hey, let me focus everything I have on the next win because that guy is really, he wants to change his life on this fight. So maybe he barely won his last 2 fights and he got a title shot, but still he's going to do everything possible to take that belt away from me. You have to have that kind of mentality. So I've seen it go both ways. I've seen guys get quite arrogant because you do get a boost. You just want the title. You're the best. Officially, when they ask who the best is, your name is coming up. It's euphoric. It turns on a feeling of like, I don't know how to say that. Confidence, yes. But nonetheless, that can backfire. It can be good, but it could also backfire. Do you agree that Holloway KO had no technique? That's from Yahya Imperial. No, I don't agree. I heard Topuria say that, oh, Max Holloway, when I saw you knock out Gaethje, there was no technique there. No, I would tell you that Max Holloway was using a slugger style. That's a legitimate boxing style. We've seen boxers win world championships like this. We've seen Thai fighters win world championships like this. We've seen many fighters get KO'd badly in every type of combat sport that allows punching. Being a slugger is not a bad thing. It's a punching style. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of Mayweather's hardest fights were against sluggers. Okay, so it's not true that because you're a slugger, that you punch from the hip, that you drop your hand, that you swing. It doesn't mean that you're not technical. It's a punching style. Now, Max was being very technical up until that point where I think he saw a weakness. He took a calculated risk and it paid off big. Okay, so I think there was a lot of emotion running high. I don't think he didn't do it because it was a mistake. He did it deliberately. So again, we have to remember that, right? He was also entertaining us and he probably saw something that he thought he could exploit. We're going to find out in a couple of weeks who's the best MMA boxer, because whoever wins the boxing in this fight is probably the best MMA boxer right now. Boxer, not necessarily striker, but boxer. Coach, have you seen MMA Guru's new 1 hour long impression video? No, I haven't. That's from Muhammad Khan. I have not. Coach, thoughts on Bivol versus Arthur? Johnny, I didn't see the whole fight. I just saw the highlights. I want to sit down and watch it, but I haven't watched it. Gentleman and scholar, Coach Zahabi, what is the harder to attain, a black belt in jiu-jitsu or a button-pushing black belt? That's from Muhammad Udin. Guys, I think we're done with the Max Holloway Topuria fight. Let's move on now to Ask Me Anything. And we guys can fire away absolutely anything. What's harder, button pushing black belt or a black belt in jiu-jitsu? Probably a button pushing black belt, because I've been pushing these buttons for a long time. You know, like how long has this show been running? I'm not even sure, and I still can't get it right. So button pushers, I salute you. I salute your craft. Coach, when is the stream with Sneeko? Would love to see it. That's from Fighters MMA. Sneeko, my apologies. I've been out of touch. I'm so busy. I have a lot of fights coming up. I'm doing some traveling. Dear Sneeko, we will do a stream very shortly, I'm sure. Giving me a month or so. I got a lot of fights lined up. And once those are done, we're going to do a stream. We might even get together. We might even train together. We now have each other's numbers. We're talking to each other directly. It's going to happen sooner or later, inshallah. Bilal or Shafkat, that's from Moshpit. That's a tough one, guys. That's a really, really tough one. I'm going to go over the footage. I can't do that one right now. That one's going to be, like, I'm going to have to dissect that one. I'm going to have to go deep on that one. That $20 donation guy from a while ago, that's from Safari. Safari, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Let me see if I can go retrieve it. What was his name? I made a note. Oh, here it is. Oh, no. What was it? No. It's not it. Okay, let me see if I could scroll down and find it. No, unfortunately, it expired. What was his question? I looked at it real quick. Guys, if you have his question, just punch it in the chat. Coach, Bobby Knuckles or Boars? I don't know who Bobby Knuckles is or Boars. I don't know either character. Sorry. We need it on Jake Shields' podcast. Yes, Chokti. I also spoke to Jake Shields. We will be doing a podcast together. And the next time I'm in Vegas, I'm actually in Vegas this weekend, but I'm only in Vegas for one day because I have a fight prior. The night prior, I have to go somewhere else for a fight. So I'm going to be only in Vegas for a few hours for the fight. Then I fly right out the next day. So I told Jake the next time I'm in Vegas for a longer period, we're going to do that podcast. I look forward to hanging out with my buddy Jake. I feel more leverage with outside head, though. Thoughts? That's from Adam Rogers. Adam Rogers is saying, look, when I put my head to the outside, I have more leverage. There are some benefits. Also, it's harder for them to limp leg out. However, if you're not fighting a guillotiner, great, go for it. If you are fighting a guillotiner, you might get choked and get your back taken. Now, I think you should do both. I do both. I work head outside, head inside. And I only put my head on the outside if I know for a fact that guy's not a guillotiner. Like, look, when the Khabib took down McGregor, he put his head to the outside. Was that wrong? It's not wrong. McGregor's not a guillotiner. Go for it. And also, Khabib is incredibly hard to guillotine, of course. I'm in my late 20s living in Australia. Hard to keep halal and find a wife. I'm teetering, nearing the haram. Any advice on how to find a wife and how to impress Big Baba for his blessing? Abdullah, I would tell you, look, go online. Find a wife online. Like, it's modern day and age. You know, go to a halal website. Find yourself a nice online, or go to the mosque, sit in your mosque, say, look, I'm looking for a wife. Put the word out. Here's my name, my reputation, my family. Like, just put the word out there, you know. Find yourself a good wife. Because I'll tell you something. There's so many key important decisions in life. And finding the right woman is a major, major decision. Okay, so don't get that wrong. If you get that wrong, you'll regret it. Okay, as you get older, guys, look, I'll tell you something. I'm just going to take this off because I'm getting hot. The first 5 years of marriage is easy. That's easy, man. That's easy. You can do that standing on your head the first 5 years. First 5 years, easy. After 10 years, you get some new challenges. 12 years, 15 years, most people don't make it that far. The wheels come off. Why? Our modern day society is not conducive. Western society, Australian society is not conducive to family. What can I say? It's just not conducive. So make sure you get a nice traditional, if you're going to settle down and you're going to tie the knot, make sure she's halalalized. You know what halalalized means? Make sure she's halal. If she's not halal, no bueno. Don't sign the contract. McDougall had a philosophical question. Yes, guys. Give me McDougall's question, please, guys. Idealism seems to merely be the least refutable of the three substance theories. Philosophy is limited in scope as its explanations are limited by language. If humans didn't exist, what would arguments be for idealism? That's from Andrew. Andrew, it's not a question of just language. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. Okay, it's not a word game. We're not playing we're not playing a game of words. Okay, and now some philosophers might do that, but believe me, when you meet a serious philosopher, they're not playing a game of words. Words correspond to things out there. Our words correspond to things out there. Okay, so it's more a question of epistemology. Idealism is asking you. Here's the thing, okay? It's kind of hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. I'm going to do my best here. When you look at the world, you're observing reality, but you're also creating reality in your mind. Your mind is shooting out, interpreting, superimposing. It's projecting things out into the world. A lot of the things you see out in the world are really happening in your head. They're happening between your two ears. Let me give you a really glaring example. Imagine I was a ventriloquist and I'm entertaining a bunch of children, and I have a puppet and I'm making the puppet talk, and I'm having a back and forth with the puppet, and the kids are laughing and they think the puppet's crazy and it's acting funny. They're projecting their mind onto the puppet. The puppet doesn't have a mind. You and I know that. When me and you see a ventriloquist, we see the illusions much more clear to us. But to the kids, it's like, really, wow, look, that puppet has a mind. I'm a nominalist. Okay, nominalists, we think so much of the world that regular people believe is out there. It's out. No, we say no, it's not out there. It's in your mind. So much of it is in your mind that if I told you how much I think is in your mind, you'd think I'm crazy. So much of it is just in the mind. Now, what is this thing mind? That's the thing. It's not a game of words. It's not. It's a question of direct experience. It's very profound. So that's not so easy for me to just explain. But go back to that example. The kids think that puppet has a mind. Well, why do they think that? They think that puppet has a mind because they're projecting their mind onto the puppet. It's their mind that's reflected back into the puppet. It's not the puppet. The puppet has no mind. So you're saying if I didn't exist, well, if I didn't exist, mind would still exist, because we believe that mind is fundamental. What's fundamental? Foundationalism, not fundamentalism. Okay, let's not confuse the two. Fundamentalism is like a religious term. Okay, foundationalism is not a religious term. It's not. Foundationalism it's a philosophical term, where it means you believe you know something that's so solid. There's no doubt in this thing. There's no doubt. Okay, so a famous foundationalist was René Descartes, Imam Ghazali, of course, for the Muslims, and in the Greeks they didn't have foundationalism per se. It could be argued, but it wasn't really. Philosophy wasn't understood that way. Ghazali was a famous foundationalist, and Descartes was a famous foundationalist. Okay, famous. They were like, look, they claimed they knew something that nobody could ever doubt. This one thing, it's undoubtable. Bring me the most woke guy, he can't doubt this. Okay, I'm a foundationalist. I believe in foundationalism. Okay, again, not to be confused with fundamentalism. That's something else. It's completely unrelated. Completely two unrelated things. They sound the same, but they're completely unrelated. Foundationalism is saying, look, there's this one thing that's undeniable. If you try to doubt it in any way, it's undoubtable. You can't. No scientific theory will ever be this certain. No mathematical theory will ever be this certain. It's foundational. And that thing is the mind. So you're telling me, look, if mind didn't, or if minds didn't exist, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible. So because you think you have a different worldview. You think that, I have a brain and the mind is dependent on the brain, and one day my brain's going to die, the mind's going to go away. I don't believe that. So I just think that's absurd. And I think that's been proven time and time again in philosophical circles, that that's an impossibility. Mind is foundational. The universe is mind first. Then you have all these other things. But the mind is foundational. It's undoubtable. I messed my low back during a lift today. I don't live wrestle for a bit, but every time I go back, I re-injure it. It's been months like this. What should I do? That's from Adam Rogers. Adam, get it strong and stable back. I got to grandfather that question. I've grandfathered with a video. Use level up 50 off. The promo code is on the bottom of your screen. Go to jujiclub.com. Get strong and stable back for life. I promise you, this video will fix your back. Listen to it. Study that video. I'm 44 years old. I wrestle every single day. I have zero back pain. Zero. Every guy who comes across my gym has back pain, neck pain. I fix them right away. Trust me. I fixed countless necks, countless backs. I just can't do it every single time somebody hurts their back. That's why I put it in a video. All for you guys. Coach, I was at your gym today and got rocked in sparring. Any tips to take care of the brain? That's from Imagine Dragon. Imagine Dragon, I'm going to be at the gym tomorrow. I want you to come talk to me personally. I want to hear exactly what happened. Imagine Dragon, I'm during the day and at night, I'm going to be in. So come and see me personally, please. I want to hear exactly what happened. Thoughts on Kenyon Cornelius' comments that BJJ competitors should not consider themselves world champ unless they win at IBJJF or ADCC. Well, those are the two biggest organizations. Now, of course, with the CGI, of course, if they're giving $1 million, you're fighting the best guys. What other events? I mean, let's say who's number one if they had a world championship. Look, I don't think you have to worry about exactly what federation you're fighting for. It's the guy you fought. Like if the guy's legitimately among the best and you beat him and it was for title and the money's on the line, you're a legitimate world champion. Now, if some guy throws a local promotion and he says world champion and you beat some guy we never heard of, no, you're not really world champion. So it's just a question of consensus. Does the jiu-jitsu community consider the guy you beat among the top of the world? If he is, then you're a legitimate world champion. Because the thing is, federations are always going to claim they have the best guy, right? They're always going to claim that. Now, of course, in jiu-jitsu, it's not like UFC. You can go and fight in every division, but you can't peak 5 times in a year. You're going to peak 2-3 times a year. This federation is paying me the most. There might be a lot of reasons why you're not fighting every single division, right? Nonetheless, if you're fighting in the elite, and there's a title on the line, and there's money on the line, it's a legitimate thing. Yeah, you're a legitimate world champion. It doesn't have to be, per se, IBJJF. Why does IBJJF and ADCC? Now, maybe it's because, maybe it's because they give out the most money, or I don't think IBJJF even gives out money. Do they? Honestly, I don't even know if IBJJF gives out money. I've never really heard of anybody saying they made money at IBJJF. Is the earth flat? That's from Patty Cake. No, it is not flat. Coach, it's Luigi. Have a great week. Thank you, my man. Merci beaucoup, Luigi. You too. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Did anybody find Mr.'s question that I skipped earlier? Coach, I'm starting my BJJ journey. My gym offers both gi and no gi classes. Frankly, I have no real interest in gi training. I'm worried I'm being dismissive. What is the wise way to approach this? That's from Limbo. Limbo, I highly recommend go no gi first, because that way your fundamental moves, your best moves, are usually the moves you're going to learn first. When you learn something earlier in your career, those are the moves that are going to stick with you in your mind. And they're probably the moves you're going to be best at. So I highly recommend you go first no gi. Because if you start gi and you start learning your foundational moves with moves that require gi, then when you go to no gi, your game's going to kind of fall apart. Okay, because you're trying to grab a collar, there's no collar there. But if you learn no gi and then you go gi, everything you learned in no gi is going to work in the gi. Plus, we're going to give you new grips, new extra attacks. Okay, so if I wanted to be the best knife fighter in the world, like if you gave me a knife and said, become the best knife fighter in the world, I would go learn boxing. I would go and learn boxing, footwork, head movement, slipping in and out. And then you give me a knife. Oh, now that's easier. That's like jab plus I have more reach, you know. It's all about building a foundation of moves that work in every situation. So like me, when I think about my jiu-jitsu, I think about my moves. Are they going to work in every situation? Like today, I was kind of horsing around with one of my students, which, you know, I love my students. But this one special student of mine, he comes from AOJ, Art of Jiu-Jitsu. He trains with the Mendez brothers. He's a phenomenal grappler, amazing grappler. And today we're rolling, but them, they don't have cages in AOJ. So they have a platform. If they go off the edge, they stop and start again. Now at TriStar, we got walls, we got mats, of course, and we got cages. So as we were rolling, we're coming up to the cage, and I know he's not used to that. So, of course, I'm clowning him because nobody's a bigger trash talker than me in the gym, guys. People, I have a black belt in trash talking, of course. So I kind of put his head up against the cage, and I was like, "Oh, you're not used to this, are you?" No, he's in his dojo, in his shidoshi didn't train him of what to do when somebody puts your head up against the fence. And I was holding him there. I was like, "You don't really like." And you know, his guard started breaking down. I started passing, and I was like, you're not trained. Listen to me. If you don't know what to do when your face is pressed up against the wall, you're not street certified. You're not ready for the streets, my friend. Your jiu-jitsu is going to work in this nice, gentle, sanitized environment. That's where it's going to work. But if you go out on the street, my friend, there are walls and cages all over the place. There are obstacles all over the place. And you're telling me your jiu-jitsu is not going to work now because there's a vertical structure now. My jiu-jitsu is going to fall all apart. Of course, you know, I'm just calling my student, but in a way, it is true as well. Like I think about these things, you know, like what do I do if my arm is stuck against the fence? What do I do if I'm in this position? I go and experiment. I figure it out, you know. But it does make a big difference. Now, today we're having some fun in the gym, kind of laughing because I have my good buddy who's also a very sport jiu-jitsu. He's very well developed and, you know, he's super good. But put him up against the fence. He's never been there before. You know, he's got to improvise. These kind of things make a massive difference. Putting on a gi, taking off the gi makes a massive difference. Start with the moves that work in every situation. Then, as those moves are very secure in your system, add other things that are specialized. Like I know I do certain moves where and I only use this move in this particular situation. But I don't want to start to build my house on a shaky platform that only works in a particular situation. No. Give me the moves that work all the time. The most foundational moves. They work in gi, no gi. They work in MMA. They work in a street fight. They work in when I'm tired. They work when things are sweaty. Those are the moves we want to adopt early on in our training. Coach, respect. Any tips on how to stay hydrated and unlocking the psoas hip flexor? Muchos gracias, amigo. That's from Sparky Pal. Sparky, I would tell you, to unlock your hip flexors, you have to do mobility training, foam rolling, lacrosse ball. But I really like the lunge matrix. Okay, I do the lunge matrix. You'll learn it in strong and stable knees. Check it out. I use the stability ball to unlock my stiffness in the legs. Check it out. Make sure to pick it up and do the lunge matrix. I live by the lunge matrix. I think the lunge matrix and the stability ball training will give you incredibly powerful legs, incredible endurance, and staying hydrated. That's real simple. Okay, I don't have my glass of water with me now, but you guys ever see me drink the water on the show? It's like I put water in a jar. Like a glass of water is too little water. Okay, it's way too little water. Like I have these huge jars I drink of. Like I take mason jars, big giant mason jars, and that's what I drink with. Everybody in the family drinks with these little glasses. Oh, I just have a sip. I gulp that down. You know, you just got to develop a habit of drinking, hydrating after practice, before practice. Walk around like me with a big giant mason jar of water. You know. Does strategy overcome all variables in a fight? If the strategy encompasses every variable, so should we train our minds more than our body? That's from Hassan. No, strategy does not encompass every variable. Okay, Hassan, I'm going to give you a thought experiment. Okay, think about this. Let's say me and you are playing chess. And when we start the chess game, we're going to take out your queen, we're going to take out your rook, we're going to take out your knight, and we're going to take out half your pawns. And we're going to start like that. You're going to start with a handicap. Now, the pieces on the board, this is what we call material. It's not strategy. It's material. Now, if me and you have the same pieces, we have the same amount of material, now it comes down purely to strategy. But you're telling me, look, doesn't strategy trump everything? Okay, well, let's do this thought experiment. Let's play a game of chess. Well, let's play a game where game one, me and you have the same amount of pieces. And then game two, I take out your queen, I take out your rook, I take out your knights, I take out half your pawns, and then we start playing. Well, guess what? You're going to be like, oh, well, there's no strategy in the world to beat you. You got more material. And that's my point. Material is paramount. So, for instance, do you know how to slip? Do you know how to uppercut? Do you know how to kick? Do you know how to sprawl? Do you know how to front headlock? Do you know the mechanics of fighting? How strong are you? How much endurance? This is material. Then when me and you are even in material, if we're even in material, then the only difference left is strategy. So for instance, if we're playing that chess, me and you are playing chess, and in this thought experiment, we have the same exact pieces. Well, now the only difference between me and you, there's only one difference, strategy. Strategy. So it's a blend of material and strategy. So yes, you want to train the mind, of course, but you better train that body too. You better train that muscle memory. That's why, I really love doing speed drills. I have 2 videos about speed drills. It's really important. I make my guys do speed drills on a regular basis. I have 1 minute. I'm doing double legs for 1 minute. I'm doing this pass for 1 minute. I'm developing a habit. I'm developing muscle memory. I'm not just learning a move. I'm telling you the opposite. Teach your body to react. So I like working the maze ball. I'm slipping. I'm punching. I'm slipping. I'm punching. I like doing pads with the guys. We're doing this rhythmic pad work where the muscle memory is being repeated. The muscle is repeating an action over and over again. I always tell people, the move has to be instinctual. What does that mean if the move is instinctual? The move is instinctual when I do it without even thinking. I didn't even have to think, and I did it. And I could do it when I'm tired. I could do it on a Tuesday at 3 a.m. It doesn't matter when. Okay, now I've drilled it enough. It's become a part of my psyche. Because I could learn a move and do it, but it's not really instinctual. So sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I don't get it right. Sometimes I screw it up. If I'm a little bit tired, I do it all sloppily. I get it wrong. I need to get it right. I have to be in this particular good circumstance, and now I can get it right. Now I could sink the basket I could sink the ball into the basket. I have to have this particular circumstance where somebody who's really, really well trained, if I'm in a rainstorm and the wind is blowing and somebody's shaking the basketball net, I'll still get the ball in the net. Okay, even if you give me these obstacles, I'm okay, that's a bit extreme maybe. But even if I'm feeling ill or, somebody poked me in the eye, my eye is blurry, I'll still get the ball in the basket. It's instinctual. I've done it so many times now that I'm doing it, and I can't even really explain how I do it because I've done it so many times. My reflexes are kind of taking over. Okay, so that's the time when you're really doing something instinctual. It's in your blood. You're doing it without thinking. The subconscious mind now is taking over. It's more efficient. It's faster. So I would tell you that strategy is not king. No. Strategy is only king when material is equal. Now, sometimes, let's say I'm playing a chess master, okay? And I take away his queen, and I take away one of his rooks, and I take away 3 of his pawns. He'll still beat me. Why? His strategy is way better. I have an older brother who's really good at chess. When we used to play chess, he used to take out his queen just to make the game fun. He still beat me. I have more material. He still beats me. Sometimes I spar with guys who are bigger, stronger, for sure, more athletic. I beat them. Why? I have much more mechanical knowledge. I know much more about the sport. And also, I have strategy, etc. So What I'm trying to tell you is it doesn't boil down to only strategy. Yes, you can win with strategy. Strategy is very important. But let's not overlook the importance of material. If strategy was the only end all be all, why would anybody ever take steroids? Like, because steroids is like adding an extra pawn to the board. Salam, coach. What's the best way to import all strength and conditioning in a weekly workout plan? Thank you for doing these podcasts, sharing your wisdom with us. That's from Saeed. Saeed, I like to do my sports training, like jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever sport you're in. Then after I do conditioning, I take a little break and then I do my conditioning. I don't like to take a day off my sport and do conditioning. I will take a day off here and there. If, let's say, I feel my body needs a break from the sport itself, you can have overuse injuries or whatnot. But I'm a big believer of always doing the sport first, because that's where you get the most benefit, and then strength. So for instance, sometimes I'll just go in, I'll drill, I won't do any rolling, and then I'll go do my weights or my airdyne or whatnot. Okay, so sometimes you could skip the rolling part because you want to save all that energy for your workout, so you can so you can have an intense workout. I think that's fine, but I think you should never skip the technical portion of your training. You should never skip it. The mind has to be trained every day. The mind has to be trained every day, and the body sometimes needs a break, and sometimes it has to be pushed harder, and sometimes it can be pushed to a medium degree. But the mind should never have a break. With that said, I do think taking one day a week off the gym is great, but then I'm still thinking about the fights. I watch fights, I analyze fights. So my mind never really gets truly a rest. Oh, strong and stable. I thought you meant strengthening and conditioning. Oh, sorry. What's the best way to incorporate all strong and stable in a weekly workout plan? Well, sorry about that. My bad. I explained that exactly in the strong and stable knees. It comes with a PDF. Make sure to check the PDF. Okay, so first you start with maximal strength, guys. So important. What are your lifts? You have to have a deadlift or a squat. I need to know what your maximal lift is. Then after that, we do endurance and plyometrics. It's all tailored there. Okay, check the PDF, and I teach a 3-week cycle. I think you should train hard for 3 weeks, 1 week easy. That's the secret to getting in shape without getting injured. A guy who's training 7 weeks in a row super hard, guess what? Oh, he blew out his shoulder. Well, guess what? He didn't cycle his training. He didn't cycle your training. Every coach knows you have to cycle your training. Every single coach worth his salt knows you have to cycle your training. Not every day is going to be a hard, mind-numbingly brutal day in the gym. You can't train like that for a long time. If you were to train like that, let's say, after 4 or 5 years, you're going to be burned out physically or mentally. Or you're going to be so chronically injured you won't be able to train. Like, I have guys who come in the gym, they want to be a black belt in 3 years. Okay, guess what happens? 6 months, 1 year in, their neck is popped. Like, they pop their shoulder. Like, it's just the body has limitations. You have to cycle your training. What details can you give about the side choke? That's from Chad. Chad, I will tell you, like, when you do the side choke, you want one of your pecs on the guy's shoulder blade. Not 2 of your pecs on each shoulder blade. So you don't want to be behind him. That's why I call it the side choke, because I really want you on the side. Like, I don't want you to be behind him. So I always say it's like you have one pec on the guy's shoulder blade. If you're there, there's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot where if you put the squeeze on the guy, he's not coming back. Like, he's cooked. It's incredible how powerful it can be, the side choke. It's incredible how quickly people tap. I've realized, like, I don't have to be that strong to get somebody to pass out if I put them at this particular angle. Greetings from LaSalle. Do you have weeknight sessions to stay in shape instead of attending a gym? That's from Jay Goodman. I don't know what you mean by weeknight sessions to stay in shape. What's a weeknight session to stay in shape instead of attending a gym? Do you mean like something to do at home? Well, I do have a very good video called Strong and Stable Kettlebell. I teach you how to master the kettlebell. And you could definitely get in incredible shape with just a kettlebell. Absolutely. Coach, I came from boxing and I'm having issues adapting to kickboxing now. Any tips on the difference in guards, etc.? That's from Imagine Dragon. I will tell you, look, I'm going to come out with more Muay Thai kickboxing videos and I'm going to show you a lot of details. I haven't really put that too much on video yet, but I'm definitely going to be doing a series of kickboxing videos. It's really difficult for me to explain, but there is a difference in blocking, definitely. There's a major difference between boxing defense and Muay Thai defense. Of course, I love to marry the two, definitely. One video that I do touch on a lot on it, I would say, is the mace ball video. I use a mace ball. I'm a big believer in the mace ball. It's like you could put a bag of coins, hang it off a string on the ceiling, and just swing it, and that's a mace ball. Like, I'm a big believer in not getting hit, so I do a lot of mace ball workout, and it's super, super efficient to teaching somebody how to be very. If you want to be hard to hit, you work with mace ball. Then you're gonna be hard to hit. You're gonna be very hard to hit. I think it's the most underutilized piece of equipment in any gym. I've been all over the world. People don't use the mace ball. It's a lost art. But it's a phenomenal, phenomenal training method. Coach, would you let Nathan Levy train at your gym? No, like, this guy's like an IDF soldier or whatnot. No, I wouldn't train him in my gym. And there's a reason why, okay? Because it's like saying, would you let a Hamas guy train in your gym? No, I wouldn't let him train in my gym. I wouldn't let an IDF guy train in my gym either. Okay, they both commit war crimes. I'm not with that. I'm strictly 100% against that. I'm not ashamed to say it. People are going to think it's controversial. That's their business. I'm more than happy to tell you why. They commit war crime after war crime after war crime. Just recently now, people are being burned alive. Refugee camps are being bombed and burned alive. Refugee camps are made up of tents. You know that if you're going to detonate charges in the refugee camp, you could start a fire. Now they're saying, oh, maybe it's the protein tanks. Maybe it's ammunitions that was hidden there. Whatever it is, you don't blow up and burn people alive. I don't agree with that. There's no justification. There's no justification. There are smarter, more effective ways to root out your enemies and fight. Look, if two soldiers from different parts of the world want to get in the battlefield and kill each other, that's their business. But once you start killing children, innocent people, I'm not with that. Either side. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what side you're in on the fence. Okay, I don't agree. I think killing innocent people is absurd. Children, this is a war on children. It's that absurdity. I don't agree with either side when they do it. Okay, it's haram. It's wrong. It's wrong in international law. It's wrong in religious texts. If you're atheist, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're Jewish, it's wrong. All across the board, it's wrong. So I don't know how people make justifications. It's quite sick. I find it sickening. I find it sickening when people make excuses for why, oh, it's okay to kill and burn these people alive. It's only okay when it happens to other people. If it happened to you, oh, you'd be war crime, inhumanities, anti-Semitism. Look how they want to kill me. They're anti-Semitic. They're evil. No. But when you do it, oh, no, it's justified. I couldn't help myself. I had to do it because the bad guy was there. We thought that maybe there's a bad guy there. No. I'm sorry. That's disgusting. If you justify that, then Hamas was justified on doing what they did on October 7th. They have the same logic. We can't get to our enemies unless we do it this way. That's exactly what they say. And we tell them that's haram. It's wrong. It's against international law. We tell them the same thing we're telling you. When I say we, I mean the sane people who are sane. You can't say, oh, I'm going to kill this bad guy. And unfortunately, there's all this collateral damage. Well, Hamas can say the same thing. You just justified. Stupid. Hey, stupid. Are you listening? You just justified October 7th. You just justified it. Why? Well, Hamas says, look, those people, they're all in the IDF or they were in the IDF. They're just dressed in civilian, but they're IDF soldiers. You have to be in the IDF to be an Israeli. So if you're an Israeli walking around, you're fair game. They justified exactly like you do. Well, tell them, how do you know it's not a tourist? No. You know, we could tell, they're locals. We're going to round them up. We're going to shoot them. We're going to kill them. No. It's unacceptable. Now, I do understand if you're two countries at war and we raid your military base, and I understand there's going to be fatalities. That's one thing. That guy signed up for it. I get it. But shooting innocent people who are sitting in their homes, hunting them down, killing them, I don't agree. bombing a refugee camp is illegal. 100% international law illegal. Haram. Completely unjustifiable. So anybody who promotes that in any way, I find them to be deranged, psychopathic. Okay, now I know there's a lot of groupthink. Oh, because we're all saying it, we share the blame. So you can't say we're all psychopathic. I think it's groupthink. I think you're brainwashed. I think you can't think outside the box. You're scared to go against your culture, peer pressure. You don't want to disappoint your nation or the people who rally around the same flag. Me, I'm not for that. Me, I don't care. Me, I open my mouth and I say it's wrong. You're killing people. You're killing children. I don't want to be part of that culture. Whoever thinks that's a good thing to do, I don't want to be part of you. I don't want to be part of you. I think it's completely wrong. It's not only internationally wrong in terms of international community. It's also haram, deeply haram. So what can I say? I find that people right now, because people hide behind a banner. Oh no, we were told it's okay by these people, so we're fine. I don't have to think anymore. I just shut off my brain. That's it. Oh, those people died. They must have deserved it because the guy above me is saying it's okay. I don't agree. I can think for myself. Thank you very much. I can think for myself. I highly, highly find it disturbing that people are justifying the recent attack on the Al-Aqsa refugee camp, hospital, and the refugee camp. People were burned alive. Despicable. Thoughts on Osman Gold saying Palestine has inferior culture? That's from Salah. Yeah, I heard about that. He's all over the internet. I think he's completely ignorant. Very ignorant statement. Very, very ignorant statement. Like highly, highly ignorant. The levels of ignorance is absurd. But I heard he came back and he apologized. Okay, so I think I saw his apology video. I'm sure he's getting lambasted by every side. I'm sure they took away his sponsorship. They canceled him. And now he's begging for mercy. So me, I like to forgive. Somebody made a mistake. They did something bad. I'll forgive. Me, I'm not going to go after him. I'm not going to curse the guy. I'm not going to lambast him or anything like that. But if he were to do it again, then it would be really difficult for me to accept an apology. Because I believe people make mistakes. He spoke out of his ass. He made a mistake. He maybe had people reason with him and he saw I like to think that. He saw the error of his ways. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through the history of Arabs, what they've done, how they've contributed to humanity, because the Arabs have contributed immensely to humanity. Okay. We're not just here blowing ourselves up. Okay. That's an absurdity. That's like saying, oh, all the black people, all they do is steal. It's just as racist. It's just as racist to say that. There are billions of us. Literally, there are billions of us. And yeah, we have our lunatics, of course, like every group. And now to put that on all of us is an absurdity. Okay, like saying, I don't know. I don't want to start talking about stereotypes, but, it's like saying something totally stereotypical and racist. It's an absolutely disgusting thing to say. Absolutely disgusting. I'm happy he came to his senses. Whether his motivation, whatever it was, I can't read the man's mind or heart. Okay, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm happy to see at least he had the guts, because it takes a lot of guts to say you're sorry. It takes a lot of guts to apologize to people. It takes a lot of guts. People are going to step on him even more. So I respect the fact that he walked back his comments. Coach, what are your thoughts on the recent hijab Piers Morgan interview? That's from Talal Ghazi. Look, it got very personal very fast. You could tell that hijab despises Dershowitz, despises him. Now, I didn't know Dershowitz was that hated. Like I've heard the guy speak before. When I heard him speak with Finkelstein, I thought it was gross. It was really disgusting how he was defending like the inhumanities. But when I heard hijab like kind of talk about his background and was he at the island, I didn't know those things about him. I didn't know. And I've come to realize that a lot of people hate this man. A lot of people find him to be despicable. A lot of people find him to be like just an abhorrent human being. And I did a little digging on him, and he's very unliked. He's a very, very unliked individual. But what blew my mind the most, like what really blew my mind, was his interview with Norm Finkelstein, where Norm Finkelstein asked him, challenged him. And we have to remember, Dershowitz is a lawyer, right? It's supposed to be a highfalutin, tootin' lawyer. Norman Finkelstein asked him, name me one international body that agrees with you. Meaning that Israel is not in breach and they're very moral and they're doing everything right. And he said, that doesn't matter. Israel's courts say it's legal. That's insane. That's kind of like saying, okay, I go and I did something and I'm going to investigate my own crime. I'm going to decide whether what I did was right or wrong. I don't answer to anybody. Nobody's opinion around the world, because Dershowitz is trying to say, look, the lawyers of Israel, the judges of Israel are going to judge Israel. No. Hold on a second. What about the rest of the entire world's congregation of lawyers and judges from around the world are telling you this is wrong. You're breaching international law. You're part of that body, by the way. You're part of that body. He couldn't name one international body, and he knew it. And he had the gall. They had the gall to say that it doesn't matter. He dismissed all the world's international bodies. I found it to be incredibly arrogant, like incredibly insulting. It's like saying everybody doesn't understand law. Everybody in the world is dumb except our people. Everybody in the world's opinion is stupid. Everybody in the world's opinion is foolish. It's pretty arrogant. It's like massively arrogant. Like these people, you're talking about highly educated people who've committed their whole entire lives to study this topic. It's not even up for debate. No, they don't know anything. Okay. Can you be more biased? When somebody else does something to us, it's wrong. When we do that same thing to other people, like Benny Morris, for instance, okay? Like Benny Morris, he was talking to Mehdi Hassan, and he's like, Mehdi Hassan's like, well, all these international bodies are saying there's a famine. Well, Benny Morris says this. Look what he says. Well, I don't know what a famine is. What's a famine? I'm not even sure what's a famine. They start bringing everything to debate. Like even the word famine. What do you mean by the word famine? Like if my dinner's late 10 minutes, is that famine? If I didn't eat for 24 hours, is that famine? Like you have to define it perfectly for them. No, all the humanitarian aid groups, all of them are saying there's a famine. These people are experts in famine. They follow famines around the world, like Save the Children. So it's an English foundation. They're telling you, look, these children are going hungry. They're malnourished. Of all the children of the world, these children are the hungriest. That's what Save the Children does. It's a group that was founded in the UK. They're not biased. They're not anti-Semitic. They're not Hamas. They're telling you, look, of all the hungry children in the world, these ones are really, really hungry here, right here. These kids are dying from famine. Well, Benny Morris is like, for that to be true, you're going to have to define famine for me. Like, they go to insane level of denial. It's just like a group think. It's cognitive dissonance. Like, they can't admit to a fault. They're just highly dishonest. It's rhetoric. It's just pure rhetoric. Okay, like, trust me. And when I tell you, as a philosopher, we have a definition from famine. We go to the experts. It's like if your doctor says, "Hey, you're dying from a cancer." What's a cancer? Explain it directly. Man, that thing's gonna eat you alive anyway. Doesn't matter. By the time you figure out how you want to define it, it's gonna kill you. We're telling you those children are going hungry. They have to have a certain amount of nutrition, and they're not getting it. Doesn't matter if we cannot define it exactly. We don't have to define it exactly. But if you were starving, if you missed a meal, you'd be screaming, I have famine. There's some people in the world, and mark my words, okay? When they offend others, they don't see it. They want perfect definition. They want perfect parameters. They want you to sit there and make them understand because they're really playing dumb and buying time. And those very same people, when they have an ounce of mistreatment, they yell the one word. Anti-Semitism, war crime, evil, Nazi, terrorist. They start calling you names. They get just touched. I'm not talking about October 7th. October 7th was a serious matter. But now if they get criticized in a way, that's anti-Semitic. No, it's not anti-Semitic. The Palestinians didn't choose what people were going to invade them. Sorry. So if they were invaded by Chinese people, would that make them anti-Asian? No, they're just trying to fight off an occupation, by the way, which, of course, every international body accepts that Palestine is occupied. So that means they have a legal right to resistance. They have a legal right to resistance. They have the right to fight off the occupiers. So it's international law. It's perfectly legal. However, there are limits to how you can do that. Israel destroyed 80 years of constant propaganda in 1 year. Love seeing people waking up. That's from Chok T. Chok T, you're very right. They're wildly unpopular with Generation Z. Generation Z, yeah, that's correct. Generation Z doesn't like Israeli propaganda. So you have the boomers, they're getting old, they're dying off, they're the biggest supporters of Israel, and then you have Generation Z coming up. Generation Z is overwhelmingly anti-Zionist. They don't like Zionism. So how long can Zionism last? Zionism needs to do something. I think that's why they're doing it. They got to go, and I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how this project ends up. I really don't know. I just don't know. They're wildly unpopular with Generation Z. The polling is one-sided. It's like 80 to 20. The young voters that are coming up, the leaders of tomorrow are not into Israel. They're not into it. They don't believe that it's going to bring Jesus back faster. They don't believe in these things. The white evangelicals in America they're still the majority, don't get me wrong, but they're going to be slowly herded out. They're on their way out. And then a new group is coming, and they're more secular, this group. And they don't care about religious text. They don't care about it so much. Israel is wildly unpopular with them, and especially this last year has made it overwhelmingly unpopular. Overwhelmingly. Even I would tell you that the Christian Zionists slowly are like starting to crack. You could see like even them seeing human beings being burned alive, children dying. It's hard for them to stomach. Like, how far are they willing to go? Guys, I already answered the Tony Ferguson question. So please, guys, I already answered that. A Muslim cultured person keep repeating and quoting international law is quite sarcastic. That's from Jared. Could you explain why? Are you saying that Muslim countries break international law? Yeah, I would say that's wrong as well. Like, if you agree to international law, you shouldn't break international law. We need something to govern our borders between each other. Like, you have a state, you do what you do in your state, that's one thing. But then between us, how are we going to operate? We should have an agreement within us. Okay, so I think Muslim countries do wrong things. Sure, absolutely. Throughout history, present day, I think there's a lot of bad things that Muslim countries do, but you'd have to give a specific example. Guys, if you spam, you're going to be removed. Okay, so I'm putting spammers in timeout. Okay, I put him in a timeout. 30 minutes. You're doing 30 minutes. 30 minutes in the slammer. Osman Gold should go to a BJJ gym to humble this guy. Do some kind of physical activity in his life. That's from the Nomadic Layman. I understand he's a gamer, so... Look, what he said was pretty brutal. Very brutal. But here's the thing. Let me just say something now to all the Muslims now. All the Arabs. The fact that he thought it was okay to say that shows how subhuman they see Arabs. Us, Muslims. Since 9/11, it's like, oh, you could say anything you want about the Arabs. It's okay. It's okay. You can say it. They're the new N-word of the day. Like how they treated the black people once upon a time. You could say anything you want about them. Call them the worst thing in the world. Insult them, spit on them, crush them, run over their children. Doesn't matter. Who cares about them? Nobody cares. Society doesn't care about them. Well, they found out they were very wrong. We do care. We won't tolerate that. Like the black man was freed. Okay, well, our circumstances is different in many ways, but similar in some. In some, they had a very different history than us, of course. But still, they lived through prejudice. You could say anything you wanted about the black man. Like I remember watching what was it called? To Kill a Mockingbird. And it's all about this black guy who's being wrongfully accused of rape. And his own defense lawyer called him an N-word. Okay, not with a ER at the end, but with an O. Like I was like, I can't believe. But to them, it was normal to say that. It was normal. That's his defense lawyer. The black man is sitting there, and his defense lawyers called him the N-word. And he's like, oh, his only crime is being this N-word. But he wasn't. He was literally. He wasn't trying to be like shocking or anything. He was just saying, oh well, that's his thing. They're blaming him because he's the black man, and the black man can't defend himself. We could say anything we want about it. This is what's happening after 9/11. It seems like people now have become conditioned and find it okay to say, kill them, kill more of them. And that's literally what he was saying. He was saying, oh, I don't feel sorry for them. It's too bad. That's what they deserve. He was saying that we're genocidal, which is completely untrue, 100% untrue, 1000% untrue. Islam was overwhelmingly, in its history, tolerant. I'm going to say that again because please do challenge me. Islam was overwhelmingly tolerant of other cultures. Overwhelmingly. In our system, it's baked in. Because he's like, oh, genocide is baked in. No, it's wrong. Tolerance is baked in. Tolerance is baked in. Okay, so there's a lot to it now. I said something pretty colossal here. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of history. There was a lot of good Muslim leaders. There's a lot of bad Muslim leaders too. But in our creed, we have tolerance. In our creed, if you live up to it, there's tolerance for everybody. There's tolerance for everybody. When the Romans conquered certain lands, the people that they conquered, they wouldn't let them ride a horse, let's say. They would limit their rights. Why? Because they don't want an uprising. Okay, if you're a particular people, we don't want you to have an uprising. We don't let you do certain things. We limit you. You can only wear certain clothes. Like you're how do you say? You're limited. Why? Because if we let you be exactly like us, you're going to get brave one day, you're going to get strong one day, you're going to start building a revolt. These kind of things were practiced in the Muslim world, but they're not in our creed. They're not in our religion per se. And over time, they were abolished. It was just the leaders at that time, they did an ijtihad, like from their own personal understanding. They said, look, if we want to keep peace in this area because we conquered them, we don't want a rebellion, here's what we can do. And over time, these things can be lifted when there's no more threat of hostilities. Now, is it right or wrong? We'd have to go case by case. I think sometimes it was right. I think sometimes it was wrong. Whatever can allow us to live cohesively, peacefully, without the threat of violence, that's the ultimate goal. But to say that genocide is baked into our creed is an absurdity. It's really an absurdity. It's the complete opposite. That just shows somebody who never studied Islam, like at all. Like he has zero understanding. It's like saying, oh, the black man, it's inherent in him. He's going to steal and murder and kill. That's an insanity. That's an insane thing to say. It's a disgustingly racist, bigoted thing to say. Now, I want to say this to the Arab world. Look at how brave they are to insult us. Look how brave they are to threaten us. To threaten our children. Like he was literally saying, oh, I think they should all die. Right? He thinks my children should die. He thinks we should all be killed. Oh yeah, it's no problem. Bomb them. That's what they would do. If they have the bombs, they would bomb you. That's an absurdity. But look how brave. The guy's he's got millions of followers. He'll say that on TV, online, on the internet, live. He'll say that about a whole people. That's how brave they've become. Now he ate his words this time. But there's a lot of knuckleheads out there that say very nasty things. And the Arab world needs to wake up The Arab world needs to wake up. You need to become very strong. You need to become very organized. You need to become very intellectual. You need to become very ready, because they will try to step all over you. And I say that to every people, but especially the Arabs now, because the Arabs now, we are hated. We are hated. And it's okay to insult us. It's okay to bomb us. Let me tell you, let me remind you, when they killed those aid workers by accident, the whole world jumped up. The whole world jumped up. Even Biden wouldn't tolerate that. And he'll do anything. He'll bend over backwards for Israel. Even he thought, that's not that. Whoa. 7 aid workers, all white, died. Before that, there were Arab journalists, there were Arab aid workers, there were all sorts of aid workers getting killed. Nobody cared until the 7 white people were killed. Now, I found it horrible, of course, but that's Israel. That's what they do. They hunt people down. They shoot them. And when the case came out, how they hunted them down and killed them and massacred them, they were trying to get away. This was no mistake. This was a pure hit. And they want to kill anybody who's trying to feed Arabs. They're trying to feed Arabs. Shoot them. Kill them. Oh, but they're an aid group. It doesn't matter. When they killed that 6-year-old girl, Hind Rajab, we're all furious. How could somebody do that? Like, they knew she was there. They warned them. There's an ambulance coming. They radioed it in. They got permission to go in. They killed the girl and the ambulance. Disgusting, despicable. The most cowardly men on the face of the earth. That's what they are. Killing a little tiny, like a little baby girl. Yeah, that's what they do. Now, if that was a white girl, the whole world would have shook. The whole world. I just want the Arabs listening to this, the Muslims listening to this, to wake up. Wake up. Like, if I could slap you through the screen just to wake you up, I would do it. You need to do everything in your power. You have to do everything in your power to protect yourself. And of course, within laws. But I'm saying, like, they don't touch you if you're rich. They won't touch you if you're influential. They won't touch you if you're well organized. They won't touch you. Because let me tell you something. They respect Arabs when they have Arabs. The Saudi Arabs, they respect them. Oh, the UAE Arabs. Even Trump, when he goes there, he bows to them. Literally, he walked up to them and he curtsied. He saw the Saudis. He curtsied. Why? They're so rich. They're so influential. They have so much money. He was criticizing Obama for bowing to the Saudis. But when he went to the Saudis, watch the video, he curtsies. Like he like a way. Oh, it's so weird. It's like, isn't that what a woman does? I would have just shook their hand. I would say hello, smile. No, he curtsied. He literally curtsied. That's like a girl thing. I don't want to pull it up right now, but it's pretty embarrassing. He's the president of the United States. The Arab world needs to wake up and not tolerate this type of disgusting, racist behavior. Not tolerate it at all. Speak up against it. No, it's not true. You can blow up our children, kill us, harass us. By the way, like, I get harassed. That's why I get so irritated, because when knuckleheads like Sam Harris and Tommy Robinson spew their hate on Arabs, believe me, we feel it. People insult us. People threaten us. It's like, dude, what are you threatening me for? What would I do to you? Oh, you're trying to bring Sharia law. You're trying to bring a Sharia law here. They don't even know what Sharia law. What's Sharia law? I have no idea what it is. It's ignorance on ignorance on ignorance. So it's like, where do I start with this person? Like, do I have time to go and educate this guy? Like, it's insane. We're living in an insane world. Hello, Coach. Can AI ever become satiate? If computing power becomes much greater than it is now, which I believe that it will happen. That's from Hoa-chan. Hoa-chan, I don't think it becomes sentient. I don't think so. I think it'll give the appearance of sentience. I think you're projecting your mind just like a ventriloquist, how children project their mind onto the ventriloquist. You're going to project your mind onto the AI. Excuse me. But the AI is never truly sentient. Never. Okay. So sentient means it's something to be like you. Okay. There's something internal going on. It's very hard to define. It's very hard. Thomas Nagel, I think, did the best job. He said, look, it's something to be like. There's something it feels like to be a bat. I think AI, the lights are on, but nobody's home, so to speak. Okay. It's just doing if this, then that. It's just taking input. It's processing it and shooting out output. It's following an algorithm. It's a causal chain, very similar to ours. But us, we have another element to us. Okay, we have something ontologically different. AI will give us the appearance of satience, but never truly satience. But the appearance, yes, in appearance only. What do you think of Gad Saad? That's from David L. Look, I'm not a big fan of the guy because I find he's overly prejudiced on Arabs. He's Lebanese as well, but he's more Phoenician. Lebanese are not truly Arab. We're culturally Arab, so we're not. Okay, I don't want to get into that either. But basically, I think like I saw a headline of him on Tom Billier's show. Is like they all hate us. Like he's talking about Arabs. Like okay, we all hate the Jews. Like okay, now all Arabs hate the Jews. Wow, it's like you're a professor. You know it's not that simple. Even in the Hamas charter, like people never read the Hamas charter. They all talk about Hamas charter. They never read it. The Hamas charter says explicitly, we are not anti-Semitic. We have no problem. We're not fighting you because you're Jewish. We're fighting you because you invaded us. The whole Arab world turned on the Jewish people not the whole Arab world, but they got kicked out of the Arab world because of the Zionist project. Before then, they were welcome to live among us. Now, I still hold that it was wrong to kick them out of the Arab world because we basically did to them what they were trying to do to us. So I hold it to be wrong. Okay? So there were Jews in Iraq, there were Jews in here and there, and all over the Arab world, and then they were kicked out because of the Zionist project, because of the threat of the Zionist project, which I totally disagree with. I think it's wrong. It's haram, wrong, illegal. And illegal internationally. But we have a long track record with Jewish people. I'm not going to go over it now because we've done it in the past. But not only have the Muslims saved the Jewish people time after time, saved the Jewish people, protected Jewish people. Now, there were bad times too, but we had many, many good times. The golden age of Judaism always coincided with Islam. Always. The better the Muslims did, the better the Jews did. Always under our umbrella of the Islam. Always, always. Read the works of David Wasserstein. He says that Islam saved Jewry. He said that's the title of his essay. How Islam saved Jewry. It's not me, guys. This is a man who teaches Jewish studies. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to agree with him, but it's a very strong position. It's not made up. It's not some lunatic saying this. Okay, it's a very strong position. It's very convincing. How the Arab world, when they merged the Persian and Roman world together, they allowed for the Jews to reconnect. The Jews who lived in Persia, the Jews who lived in Rome, they were able to now commute and talk with one another, commune, and they were reunited, strengthened, and they grew in number and in popularity. Why? Because Islam shielded. This is a fact. Islam shielded Judaism from Christianity. Who will debate me? Who will say that this is a lie? Who can say? Who out there will say, no, there was never a time where Islam shielded Judaism from Christianity? Absolutely there was. Okay, so Catholic Spain would have eradicated, probably, very likely, all Jews on the face of the earth. If it wasn't for Muslim lands, for Jews to hide in and be safe, guys, even the Ottomans sent ships to get the Jews. Sent ships to rescue them. Don't tell us we're anti-Semitic. That's the biggest lie. That's the greatest lie. It's the greatest lie. Okay, guys, it is time for me to call this one shortly. Let's finish on a fun one. Does Jake Paul's likability increase if Tyson beats him in a decent fight? That's from Charles. I think if they both show a lot of heart, it'll increase his likability. You know, I don't have anything against the guy. I think he's a very good fighter. But if he shows a lot of heart, I think he'll turn people around. Like if he gets knocked down, keeps coming up, and puts on a good fight, doesn't do anything like cowardly, I think people tend to start to appreciate the fighters, more. At least that's been in my experience. When somebody fights through a hard fight, whether they win or lose, they pushed hard. People tend to respect that guy, like him more. Coach, goes two-way art of pen or art of sword? The real samurai. That's from Amaru. Are you asking me what's stronger, the pen or the sword? No doubt the pen. My friend, the pen has killed and saved more people than any sword. Salam, coach. Is it normal for a one-stripe white belt to tear his meniscus and be out for up to 3 months? That's from Nomadic Layman. No, it's not normal. Please get strong and stable knees. Okay. Level up 50 off. Don't use your doctor. Okay. I don't care about your doctor. Your doctors don't know anything about knees. They don't know anything about knees, man. I know people, oh, what are you talking about? Coach, doctors know about knees. No, they don't. They don't. I'm telling you, they don't know about knees. They don't know anything about wrestling and knees. Okay. They don't know anything. All they know is how to cut. That's all they know. Trust me, level up 50 off. Go get strong and stable knees. You'll pay for it 20 something bucks. It'll be in your database for life. You will learn something that'll change your life forever. No, you shouldn't be breaking your knee that quickly. Okay. Take it from a guy who's torn his meniscus in both knees. Okay. And I wrestle every single day. Okay. No doctor ever fixed me. Ever. Namaste, coach. At what time in history would you like to go? That's from the man from Nepal. Is that you? Yes, sir. Okay. For sure, first or seventh century. Between the first and 7th century, I'd want to see the 1st century. I'd want to see the 7th century. What other times? I'd want to see the industrial age. I'd want to see the 1800s. I'm scared to go in ancient history because it's such a bloodbath. But if you can guarantee my safety, I'd love to see the start of Rome, the fall of Rome. I'd love to see the Persian Empire. I would love to visit China. They have 5,000 years. I have to go see Egypt, actually. If you ask me, I would definitely want to go see Egypt. I want to see how they build those damn pyramids. I want to see how the hell did they build those damn pyramids. Like, the mystery is too it's too intriguing. I would definitely want to see the pyramids. Did you watch Historian's vid on Ali Shariati influence on the Iranian Revolution on black Shia and red Shia ideological differences? No, Hassan, I haven't seen that one, actually. But I'll look it up because that's interesting. I've never heard of black Shia and red Shia. That's totally new to me. But I'm not a big on sectarian studies because I try not to get involved in that at all. Like, I don't believe in sectarianism at all. Like, there's just one ummah. That's it. Like, all the sects, I try not to get too deep into it. Like, I don't want to. I find it does more harm than good. Okay, let's look. 51% for Topuria. It's crazy. Okay, I'm going to end it right here, guys. Again, our chat and myself, we have a difference of opinion. I'm going with Max Holloway. You guys are going with Topuria. I can't wait to see this fight. Honestly, a very, very intriguing fight. Coach, are your dorms usually full? That's from Texas. Love from Texas. That's from Basbarian. I'm sure there's some vacancy. You have to email tsdorms@gmail.com. Send them an email. Ask them what their vacancy is, and I'm sure there's some vacancy. Super chats missed. Did I miss any super chats? Guys, I always do super chats and non-super chats. Salam, coach. Salam, coach. You missed my super chat, brother. Please ask brother. I am reminding you, coach. Haram when Many super chats are missed. Forgive. Other may not. That's from 50 caliber. 50 caliber. What is your super chat? What is it you want to say? I don't want to miss your super chats, my friend, but I'm not sure exactly what you need. Just put it in the chat. Don't pay again. Just put it in the chat and I'll read it. I'm looking for 50 calibers chat. If you break a promise and want to come forward, but doing so would involve breaking another promise to someone else, it would wrong to lie by omission about their involvement while still admitting. That's from Jackson Wells. Jackson, my boy, you're in a very, very harsh pickle. I would recommend you do this. Think about the two evils. Whichever one is greater, whichever one is less, I should say, do that one. Okay? Now, I'm not sure what it is because you'd have to give me a bunch of details and then apologize to the party you offended. Apologize to them. Say, look, I was stuck between two evils and I chose the lesser. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. And if the person doesn't forgive you, is upset with you, you're going to have to live with it. However, I think the correct thing for you to do is to weigh both evils, because it seems like you're stuck between two evils, and pick the lesser of the two. If God is both all merciful and all just, how can eternal punishment be reconciled with divine mercy? Coach, you are the wise uncle some of us never had. That's from A. Thank you, brother. That's very sweet of you. Okay, guys, look, I'm going to say something now that people are going to find super controversial, but don't freak out on me because you should do your research. This is actually a respected position. Okay, even Ibn Taymiyyah accepted this. Okay, it's plausible that hell is not eternal. Why? Because if you read the Quran as a whole, God says it's eternal, it's eternal, it's eternal. And in one place he says it's eternal or until he gives you mercy. So there's a little caveat. So Ibn Taymiyyah even accepted that it's plausible. That's Ibn Taymiyyah, arguably the most strict, he's a very strict interpretation. Okay, now again, I'm not an expert in this, but even me, when I first heard this, I was shocked. That some opinions have that it might not be eternal. That maybe you're going to be sentenced to eternity, but even God then will. But there are some passages in the Quran that says you'll never come out. So I don't know how the experts in these passages agree with that. Is the Quran saying that there's no way out? Once you're in hell forever? I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in this, but I've heard lectures of very respected scholars saying there's a caveat, and even that Ibn Taymiyyah accepts that it's plausible. Again, I'm not an expert, but I was very shocked when I first heard that. I thought for sure hell was eternal forever. There's no doubt, and that's it. Now, you're asking me, how could the finite sin lead to eternal punishment? Is that what you're asking me? If God is both all merciful and all just, how can eternal punishment be reconciled with divine mercy? Well, look, here's the thing. In Islam, it for sure, if you read the Quran, it tells you choose your path. You're choosing hell. That's the whole point. It's don't choose eternal hell. Don't choose eternal hell. Don't be evil. Don't steal. Don't lie. Don't murder. I don't know how Netanyahu sleeps at night. Look at all the things he's done. He's doing all that for what? To further his career. Because if he doesn't continue the war, he gets kicked out of office. If he gets kicked out of office, he has corruption charges. He basically goes to jail. He put together an ultra right-wing psychotic group of people that'll support him, to keep him in office. Smotrich, Ben Gvir, these psychopaths. Literally insane human beings, the most insane human beings on the face of the earth. Ben Gvir literally was convicted for terrorism. Literally. And they threaten him all the time. They say, if you stop the war, if you don't bomb, we're going to back away. We're gonna dismantle our government, and then you won't be in power no more. He will no longer be a PM. Right now, his corruption charges are being suspended temporarily till he's out of office or the war ends. He's super incentivized to keep the war going. If I was in Netanyahu's place, you know what I would do? I would tell them, look, Hamas, take me. Give me back my hostages. Take me. Take me, Smotrich and Ben Gvir. We got the guts to go in your tunnel. Exchange us for the hostages. I'll give you 100 days of peace on top of it. Now he will go down like a hero. Now he'd be the guy, hey, he got us back our hostages, and the cost was his own life. He gave his own self. Now I'll be like, that guy's a gangster. That guy's a real hero. That guy's a real leader. No, but instead, he's behind the safe wall in a ivory palace. And he tells people to bomb and kill children and murder them and destroy them. And he's an old man. Like, he's going to die sooner or later. Like, he's not going to live another 30 years. Like, he's going to die sooner or later, right? He's going to die maybe in another 20, 15, 10. Who knows what his health is like? Who knows? He could die tomorrow. You never know. But I gotta say, like, I couldn't live. Honestly, I couldn't be like, yeah, I'll bomb them, kill. And I know I killed like 30, 40 people today, or 100 people today, or 500 people today, or whatever crazy number he kills. And then sleep at night and be like, oh, yeah, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna, when I die, everything will be okay. I think most of them are atheists or agnostic. They call themselves Jewish, but they're not necessarily religious. Most of them are not. They can't be. Maybe they give it a facade of religion or appearance, or they give lip service, but they can't be. You can't be a person who says, oh, kill those people, innocent people, murder them, destroy them, yeah, butcher them, and then think, oh, no, I really believe in morality, right and wrong. I find it's absurd. Because look, let's be honest, okay? Let's say they stop killing and murdering. Hamas can't do what they did on October 7th again. It's not like, oh, this is not making Israel any more secure. I know it's a different topic, but it's very important to understand that. Oh, this is making Israel less secure because people are now really hating on Israel. People are furious with Israel all over the world. Ireland, even Germany has shown some backlash, which was surprising. I mean, so many states, the Latin American states, the Chinese, the Japanese, so many states now are harboring animosity. Like even the Houthis, once Israel went to a ceasefire because they took back the hostages. They gave, I can't remember how much it was, like 30 days or something. The Houthis stopped interrupting their services, like their shipping services. They stopped. Like even the Houthis who despise Israel, they're like, okay, if you're not going to attack the Gazans, we're not going to attack you. Like even Iran said, look, we have a no first strike policy. We will not attack you first. But because you attacked, our politicians, you kill them in certain areas, you bomb their embassy in different country in Syria. That's our sovereign state. You bombed us first, we're going to bomb you back. They have a no first strike policy. It's crazy. Like Iran is supposed to be the bad guy, but they're saying, look, we will never attack you first. And here's the crazy thing. Iran, when they bombed Israel, they only hit military targets. And then Israel's like, oh, you didn't kill anybody. It's like, yeah, they weren't trying to kill anybody. They were hitting military targets strictly. Literally only one person died. That was from debris, and it was actually a Palestinian that died, an Israeli Palestinian. They were not trying to kill anybody. They sent in close to 200 rockets, missiles, variety of missiles. And they literally only hit military targets. That's perfectly legal under international law. They did everything by the book. How can you now say, oh, they're the bad guy, they're evil? They did literally everything by the book. They literally did everything how you're supposed to do it. If two countries were fighting and they were just bombing each other's military bases, I wouldn't be here like really freaking out and reprimanding everybody. But I'll tell you, if you were that person's father or mother or sister or brother or the young guy who died and burned alive, I think I agree with let the guy burn in hell forever. I mean, I would leave that to God. God is going to judge. But if you think eternal hell is not a good thing, maybe it's because you've never been so how should I say, harmed. You have never really tasted pain and suffering. You haven't seen evil yet. You don't think like Adolf Hitler should suffer in hell forever? Shouldn't he be burning forever and ever and ever and ever? Like, do you think there's a time where he should be forgiven? Me, I say that's for God to judge. And again, like I said, I was very shocked when I learned that some scholars think hell is not forever. I was very surprised. And again, I'm not an expert in this, but I was just surprised that it's even an opinion. Okay, guys, please, no more super chats because I'm going to end this shortly. I know I said this a while back, but I like to give you guys a heads up. Namaste, Coach. What time is What time in history? Okay, I did that one. I scrolled all the way back to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. We got almost, we got over, we got 957 votes. 50% Topuria, 49 Holloway. How's that possible? It has to be 51-49. I think that's what happened last, but it's showing me now 50-49, which doesn't make sense. It has to be 51. Coach, what foods come in the croissant family so we can avoid it? That's from the man from Nepal. Man from Nepal, go look up the satiety index. Okay, that's why like croissants at the bottom, and there's a bunch of foods at the bottom. Don't eat those foods. Those are like the worst foods to eat because you get a lot of calories with very little nutrition and very little satiety. Satiety is like when you feel full and satisfied. So don't eat those foods. The croissant is like the worst nutritional food to eat. Jamin, thank you. I want to end it on the fun one. I want to make sure I didn't miss my super chats because I hate for the guys to pay and not get the answer they want. Salam, coach. Why the UFC doesn't implement a 4-man tournament where the winner fights the champion? It will bring in more views and attention to fighters who are not well known. What do you think? That's from MS Harry. I think it's cool. But the UFC is far from doing that. I don't think they would even like consider it. But I think like PFL has done it, Bellator has done it. I think it's cool. Like you have like a Grand Prix tournament. Remember when the Pride used to do that, the Grand Prix tournament? I thought it was super cool. I loved it. I don't know why the UFC doesn't do it. I think maybe it's because it's gonna spark like a negotiation frenzy. Maybe I'm just speculating here. I have no idea, but it would be cool, like a UFC Grand Prix tournament. That would be so cool, man. If the sidekick or oblique kick applicable in a street fight against a taller opponent, I work security and always try to de-escalate, but I want to be ready. That's from Hassan. Hassan, absolutely. The oblique kick to the knee is deadly, my friend. Deadly. Now, would I do that in a street altercation? Only if I'm ready to escalate the fight. Like, because if you kick a guy in the knee and you don't break his leg, like if you don't, like, first of all, like you could really injure somebody. Like, do you need that much force? And if you do it and you don't get it, that guy, the fight's gonna escalate. Now it's really on. So I would tell you, like, as a security guard, when I worked security, I always try to de-escalate, always verbally. If I had to touch the guy, I would grab him in a way that's like the most gentle, like in a way that protects myself as well, of course. But if I elbow the guy in the face, I know it's on. Like, there's no, it's rare you can elbow a guy in the face and he's just gonna stop. Like, now we've escalated now. Like, if he has a knife in his pocket, he might pull it out. So that's the thing. Be careful. Know that it's super dangerous. Know that it absolutely can work. However, you're going to escalate to DEFCON 5 or whatever the highest DEFCON is. That's what you're going to escalate to. Do you eat eggs every day? No, I do not eat eggs every day. Even though I do love eggs, I do not eat eggs every day. What do you think of the slap competition? Good, man. I don't really like it. I don't watch it. I find it's crazy. A sport where you can't defend yourself, not my thing. DEFCON 1 is the highest. That's from Goodman. Thank you. I never understood why DEFCON 1 is the highest. Isn't it DEFCON 4 or 5 or something? Anyways. All right, guys. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's do one last one. Somebody give me a fun one. Something lighthearted. Craig Jones says John Denahar slaps his students. Is this true? Question mark. That's from Oasis. No, he's never slapped a student. I haven't seen him slap a student, but I've seen him like roll with somebody and not be happy with the guy and like try to. Like, I've seen him. He's look. I had the fortune of training with John before he stopped rolling because he has a bad hip, bad knee, and John is a sweet person, very sweet person, super kind. But like everybody, if somebody rubs him the wrong way, he might rough him up a little on the mat, but nothing like abusive or anything. Not more than what I would do, not more than most guys do. sometimes you got a guy in the gym who's too rowdy and he needs to like be taken down a peg. Maybe, we rough him up a little bit. But nothing malicious. Never. No. Okay, guys, let's end on something fun, something lighthearted. Okay, gentlemen, let's end it on something lighthearted, fun. Somebody throw me something here. Come on, guys. Is it okay to gamble if I have AI that predicts fights win with 60%, 67% accuracy? That's from Zujitsu. I highly doubt it's that high, and it might be that high for now, but in the future it might dip really bad. Okay, so I highly don't recommend you gamble. Highly, highly don't recommend. Coach, have you seen John Denahar on rash guard only? Have you seen him on rash guard only, or do you mean he only wears rash guards? Yes, John Denahar only wears rash guards all the time. Have I ever seen him wear anything other than a rash guard? I've seen him wear other clothes on. Like I've seen him wear a rash guard and then a t-shirt. He always wears rash guard, no matter what. He went to Matt Serra's wedding in a rash guard. So just to, just to show you his commitment. Okay, when he was invited to Matt Serra's wedding, he didn't wear a suit. He wore a rash guard. Now, I think it was like a rash guard with a bow tie type thing, but a rash guard. Okay, guys, with that said, don't forget, check out jujiclub.com. Level up 50 off. Get 50% off absolutely anything at jujiclub.com. Make sure to pick up Strong and Stable Neck, Strong and Stable Back, Strong and Stable Knees. I will tell you the two most important videos is Strong and Stable Knees and Strong and Stable Back. Absolutely the two most important videos. Guys, like always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next episode.